I got quite curious to find out who this Hayley was. I thought it quite odd for a woman to be doing this sort of dirty work for a man. And I found some footage of Hayley with Mason and Andy Howarth, proving that they are all most certainly connected. These people would have no reason to contact me or look at my stories or slag off my work if it wasn't for the one person I know at this table, Mason Antonio Fardo, the covert narcissist of the independent film industry. And by the looks of his friend Hayley, she's old enough to know better. Hi guys, so I'm back with another little video about narcissistic abuse. As you know, over the last 8 years, I've been the target of a narcissist within the independent film industry, and I've been building a case against them, trying to connect the dots and working out what the hell has been going on. Over the last 8 years, I've done pretty well to find out who these people are. So what I want to talk to you about quickly is DARVO, which is a tactic the narcissist uses. It stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim and Offender. So I can prove now on paper a pattern of behaviour that this narcissist that has been attacking me has been using DARVO. Mason Antonio Fardo is what you call a covert narcissist. He does things very covertly and maliciously. So if you can look in this message here, he contacted me telling me that he was going to do whatever he could to make people turn against me and make sure that I no longer work in the film industry. I have no idea why Mason feels this aggressive towards me, because it was his friend I fell out with in 2017. I'd only met Mason once, and still to this day have no other clue as to why he's doing this, apart from me sticking up for a mate. So how is Mason using the tactic DARVO? Well, if you look here, this was a message posted on my YouTube. Now, the person says that they were asked to forward the message for Mason. But if you look up here, you can see that he states, "Don't be fooled by the facade." You can also see that Mason uses this expression of speech as he's posted it on something to do with his friend Andy Howarth. Don't be fooled by the facade. So this person pretending to be doing Mason a favour is in fact Mason, I would suggest. Andy Howarth, I have no idea who he is, never met him. He also decided to jump on the bandwagon and write posts about me, trying to convince people to have nothing to do with me. Then this Hayley Spain kept popping up in my stories. She then replied to me aggressively, telling me that she didn't know me. She didn't want to know me, telling me that I was a piece of crap and that I should feel bad for loving myself, amongst other things. And then at the bottom, she mentioned Mason. So why is this DARVO? Well, I wouldn't know Hayley if it wasn't for her snooping in my stories. And she's obviously snooping in my stories because Mason has mentioned me. She then goes on to lie and say she doesn't want to know me, even though she's snooping in my stories. She goes on to try and humiliate me, make me feel bad as a person, which is pretty narcissistic. And then she goes on to deny, but then mentions Mason in the end, admitting that she knows Mason. Make it make sense. As you can see, Mason contacted me to let me know that he was going to ruin me and spread a bad reputation about me and make sure people had nothing to do with me. He then went on to do this. He then enticed other strangers and people into these hate conversations, even escalating it to one person suggesting that Mason needs to pay me a visit. In other messages on my YouTube channel that you can see, Mason has accused me of lying about being raped, lying about suing the man that tried to steal my film. He suggested that I couldn't have possibly been raped because that doesn't even happen to pretty women. And yeah, just some really awful things that people like Hayley Spain or Mortini is another name she likes to call herself. Yeah, unfortunately, some people are actually believing his lies. So this is just a small video to prove that Mason has been using Operation Darvo, basically writing to me, provoking me, spreading lies about me, defamating on my name, defamating on my character, making up things to make it sound a lot worse. And then he's accusing me of doing those things, and he's denying having anything to do with it. So yeah, I just wanted to share this little video just to show that Darvo, I found it so interesting. I couldn't believe it. When I actually look over all my messages now from the last 8 years, I can see that there is a lot of Darvo going on. Mason is basically doing one thing with me, and then he's telling the crowd a completely different story. Only screenshots don't lie. And like I said, there's many screenshots on my YouTube channel. There's also a podcast called The Contagious Podcast, where we discussed flying monkeys and narcissistic abuse on there. So yeah, have a watch, guys, and be careful you're not being Darvoed. And as they say, time will tell. It's also a great healer. 4 months ago, Mason was spreading around the internet that he was trying to obtain my address. He was telling people he needed it for his barrister because he had a lawsuit against me for defamating on his character. We're now 4 or 5 months down the line, and I've not heard a word from anything like that. I don't know whether he was genuinely trying to get my address because he wants to do something to me, or whether he was just trying to spread malicious gossip around the internet so people thought that I was going through a court case with him. I actually did ring the police and report the fact that he was trying to obtain my address on the internet, putting it out there for any person to see. So obviously that's now roped in a load of other flying monkeys. So he knew exactly what he was doing. You see, Mason has done a lot of triangulation, bringing people into an argument that had nothing to do with him, let alone all his flying monkeys. At the time when this all started happening, I had no idea what was going on or why these people were turning against me. I still to this day don't even know why Mason is sticking up for a rapist. And I still don't understand why he calls me a liar when he wasn't there that night and doesn't know two sides to a story. It seems to me that Mason found a narrative that suited him and he went with it. Now it's all starting to backfire. Now I've got to the bottom of who these people are and what the reason is for the trolling. It's pretty shameful. The state of these people have the audacity to tell me how I should be living my life and telling people that I am not welcome in an industry that is open to everybody. How they've tried to ostracize me and bully me and body shame me over 7 years. And now I finally get to see the footage of who these people really are. I'm embarrassed for them. I want to make it really clear to all the people out there that Mason may badmouth me to in the future. The only reason Mason has got it in for me is because I saw what Mason and his friend Clark were capable of and decided to walk away. I was then raped by somebody in their circle. They didn't like the fact that I had reported this man, so now they go around doing what they do. This is why they say the things that they say. And again, I only met Mason once in 2017 for no more than 2 hours. So how would he have all this information about me? Have you asked yourself that?
Alright, so we're out for a Chinese, lovely Chinese, with our Ailey, Debs and Mason. Wow, big place here, guys. So show you what we got. Of course, that's me with the special curry, you know that. Mason, what you on, brother?
You don't need to be me, bro. But listen, this is a chicken ruby.
Chicken Ruby Murray. Ailey, what you on, darling?
Well, not a lot left now.
Well, she's nearly demolished that already. She must have been hungry.
Rice, and it's gone down very
Lovely.
well.